Hello and welcome to another edition of Scale JDM Reviews. And in this episode you can see that we have the Revell 124 scale Nissan Skyline GT Turbo on the desk. I know some of you might be confused by the fact this is a Revell kit, but it is a vintage kit. It was actually produced in 1987 and I do remember having one of these as a kid, and I've been on the lookout for one ever since. It's taken me about 30 years to find another one, so I thought I would share it with you guys. So what you can see on the desk is pretty much what we would think is a four-door R30 Skyline. Now this kit is a silhouette racer based body kit. You have the wide arches, the deep dish wheels and the almost Bosozoku style rear wing on there. So I think this kit contains influences from both those genres. Not forgetting that Bosozoku racers and customizers actually based their cars on the silhouette racers of the 80s and made their cars look indeed like this, absolutely crazy. As you can see, this is a Revell kit. Now Revell don't really specialise in Japanese kits, and therefore the kit is quite basic inside, but however it does make quite a striking curbside model when completed. So if we take a look at the box, what you can see is the front detailing on the so you've got a bottom spoiler in front of the bumper there, and then that's blended into the side wings. You've got full interior detailing and those iconic double rear lights with a quad exhaust on the back, and those technically three wings. And there's a closer picture of the rear wing there. So without further ado, let's get inside this box and see what we've got, shall we? There she is. Now it's worth noting that this kit is actually 33 to 34 years old. We are just a hop, skip and a jump away from New Year's Eve 2021. So you can see that the kit, for what it is actually really nicely detailed. There's not a lot of flash, which you would expect in older kits. Looking through the packaging just here, and it does look to be quite nicely moulded. So of course we can't review the kit stuck in its box and all the packaging. So in true Scale JDM Reviews fashion, and there it is. Okay, let's jump right in, shall we? Let's start off with the clear sprue. And obviously we can't really see it with the background, so I'm going to move the kit out of the way a little bit just there. So the window piece comes in two parts. You have the front windscreen and the side and the rear is all in one piece. We've got the front headlights just here, and those iconic double rear lights. You have the indicators, the fog lights, and the front indicators just there as well. And also what I would assume would be for the dashboard on the car. Next up, we're going to pop under the sprue. I know you don't want to see that bit, but however, what we have here is the interior. We've got the rear seats, the dashboard just here, which is quite nicely detailed. To be fair, the seats themselves are a little bit dull and will need a lot of work because there's some flashing on the side of them where the mould lines were. You've got the top of the dash, and you've got the front and rear door cars just there, a sports steering wheel. You've got this, which is, I'm guessing, some sort of a lower front skirt, and the handbrake and the rear windscreen wiper just there. You've also got the steering column, and this is quite interesting with this version of the car, because the steering column itself has two notches either side, which means you can tilt it if you really want to. These parts here are the seat rails where the seats will sit. As you can see, they are also not square, so I'll fit those perfectly. It can be detailed up really nicely with a bit of paint, or even some Sharpie coloured pens to bring it out. What is currently, I would say, a lifeless interior, but remembering this kit's over 30 years old, and stuff has moved on a lot since then, manufacturing processes and such, so we can't really expect too much. Oh, I almost forgot, we have the grille and the front headlights, and also the wing mirrors just there, and the centre console just here, which seems to be a two-parter. Okay, I'm going to move those out of the way. We're going to start on the second black sprue. They're the first of the two black sprues. So we've got some sportier seats just here. You can see there's some flash on those which we'll need to take care of. And we have this little device here. Now this is actually a battery pack. and that is where a little electric motor would go, because you can make this car motorised if you so wish. Not really something that we do these days with these cars, but back in the day when they were made, I had quite a few, especially from places like Tamiya and that would actually allow you to motorise the car, which would make it a lot of fun, to be fair. We have the edges of the, I'll bring them into the light just here. We have the edges of the rear spoiler with the two blades just there, and you have one of the exhaust pipes and a couple more wing mirrors just there. Right, next up we have the chassis, and you can see where the motor and the batteries and that would fit. It's a very basic undercarriage on this car. Like I said, it's 30 years old. For what it is, it's still nice to see. It will still hold its own. We have a roll cage here, just in case you want to go really racy with it. We have a very sporty steering wheel there, also, and rearview mirror, the front steering axles, and what I can imagine is an aerial just in the centre there. On this side we have all the components of the steering just there, and we have the other exhaust, not forgetting the number plates front and rear just there. Okay, so moving on to the fun sprue, bending that bit into place. What we have here is the wide body kit that would fit onto the body shells. So you've got the rear quarters and the front wings just there. You have the rear lower splitter and the front splitter and the side skirts just here. And of course we also have the lowered version of the front suspension, front suspension steering, and the sportier wing mirrors and another steering wheel. And not forgetting this blade, which would go along the boot and would join up between this part here and that part there. Okay, so onto the body shell. Again, as you can see, it is in fact the 4-door version of the R30 Skyline. We seem to have wider cuts here on the body, so you couldn't make this as a normal car because those arches have been cut purposely for the wider wings. The body is nicely detailed. It does have some very visible mould lines that need sanding off, but all the lines are there. They are nicely moulded. And if we bring back the other sprue, what we can do is we can see, not really in white, but you can kind of make out how it would look on the car. Just there, it would look really, really nice, of course. Although I might actually have that one around. Nope. There you go. Right, moving on. We have the ultra deep tyres here. And these are not going to, the tyres aren't going to fit on properly because these are still attached to the sprue. As you can see, they are very, very wide. They do look very nice. Very BBS LM style on those very, very, very deep dish. See that we have very small holders for where the axle shafts would go. No polycaps in this model. Yeah, they are still nice. After 30 years, they haven't dulled one bit. Oh, there we go. BBS R1. BBS RS1. Yeah, no, lovely looking. And I mean, those would look great on any car of this period. You could look at the old Celicas, the old Corollas and things like that. They would look great on the set of these. Even the newer model sets that you get, the wheel sets you get with the polycaps, the Hayashi wheels or something like the Longchamp XR4s would also look good in place of these on the same car. So it would be something worth considering if you were ever going to build one. Okay, so we have the obligatory rear axle. Solid axle makes both the wheels move at the same time. That's absolutely fine. We have the screws, which will fit on both steering columns to attach the wheels to them. And you have two of these. Maybe wondering what these are. These are actually the chrome tips of the exhaust, so you have to cut them just there. Just split them in half and then slide them onto the exhaust tips to give them that nice big chrome exhaust look. Okay, moving on to the decals that come with this car. Now I will put a screenshot on the video. You should be able to get a nice high-res version of it here. Like I said, these are 30 plus years old. You can see on the side it says 1987 Revell ink. So these were attached to the instruction manual, which is why you can see part of the instruction manual ink across the top there. I had to price them apart very carefully not to ruin them, but to be honest, I don't think you could get away with, yeah, you possibly could actually get away with using these. The ink doesn't seem to have stained the decals in any way, which is quite lucky. But we have the central speedo, we have the instrument gauges just there, we have the radio, the two GT badges which come on all Skylines, twin cam turbo badge for the back, Nissan for the back, Skyline for the back, and the of course you have the Skyline S for the front grille just there. Now, strangely enough, I actually got two sets of instructions manuals with this kit, which also gave me two sets of decals, which means some poor sod out in Model Land back 30 years ago got his kit all the way home and realised I had no instructions and no decals. Now, if you're watching this video, I do apologise. I didn't know they were there, clearly. But if you would like them back, just let me know. Okay, so let's take a look at the instruction manual. Now, it is literally an A3 sheet of paper, so it is a very basic kit to make. But we'll go through the instruction manual as we normally do. And here we have the parts list, which shows everything that's in the kit, and you do use almost every part. Of course, you have the option of the seats, the steering wheels, the roll cage, and the motor and battery compartments as well, if you so wish to use them. What we have here also is how to attach the front wheels, both left and right. They went quite into detail with this, and these are attached by a steering column with the notches on, so it go click, 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 click every time you turn the wheel. You still get that on Aoshima A86 kits, for example. Even Fujimi, do the Fujimi ones do that? Can't quite remember, someone might be able to tell me in the comments. Obviously it says do not glue the bottom of the steering column to that part, because otherwise it won't stick. Kind of goes without saying. Down the bottom here we have how to attach the rear wheels. Obviously it doesn't mention anything about the battery compartment and stuff going in, because it wasn't really what the kit was made for in this instance. We have the centre console coming in. It is built all on the floor pan of the model car itself. It doesn't have a separate interior structure like most cars do. The seats are all based onto the chassis itself. So here, this is where it's telling you you need to cut that silver, I guess silver tubing in half and attach it to both ends of the exhaust. And they're just like that. Slide them on. They don't even need glue in. They're quite hard fitting, and then they go into place. Next thing is to apply all the dash and everything, put it all together. It is quite a complex dash. You've got the glass parts there, you've got the decals, and you've got that slide and tilt. You've got the tilting steering column. I don't know why you'd want the tilting steering column in a model car, but it is quite a nice niche little feature. Not seen it on any other car apart from this one, to be fair. So then you've got the interior going together. Obviously all the parts, once all the parts are painted up, it will bring it to life. Number 10, you've got the windows going in with the rear view mirror, and then you have all the front lights, indicators, bonnet, grills, stuff like that. It's obviously telling you what colours to paint the window edges. In most cars, I guess in one of these, if you're doing it as a racer style car, you'd want to probably make them black, but if you're doing it in any style, most cars would have them chrome, I guess. And to the rear page, we have the backlights and the rear view wiper, rear window wiper I should say. Everything going on there. It gives you the colour codes that you need to paint it all. Then you've got the rear lower spoiler, the upper rear spoiler, and then to the fun bit, which is putting on the rest of the wide body kit around the car. And then obviously it does mention here the wing mirror here is the speedy version, it's the racing version, but it does give a question mark to say that you can choose a different part if you so wish. Then it's a case of putting the body on the chassis and then letting it roll basically. It's done and dusted and finished, and to be honest, even with that modification, the car does look really, really nice. It is a lovely kit to make, and I do remember a lot of fun 30 years ago making this kit. in its original guise. Mine was painted red with gold centres, but it came out quite nice. I was very happy with it, and it did spark. It was one of the kits that sparks my love of Japanese cars, which has lasted a lifetime. So there we have it. Full review of the Revell 1997 Nissan Skyline GT Turbo, based on the Ford or what I would think is an R30 Skyline. It is quite a rare kit to find. There are still a few about on places like eBay. It did take 30 years to find this particular one, and I'm very pleased to have it back. If you do get one, I definitely recommend getting it. It's a simple kit, but it can be easily modified to become absolutely wild. So enjoy. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. If it's your first time to the channel, please subscribe. Let me know if there's any other kits that you're looking for me to review. I've got a few more coming, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.